Hey, we're gonna change the brakes on this 2015 Ford F150. As you can see, I got this side done already. Got new pads. These are the old ones. The old ones are obviously bad. And these are the tools that you're gonna need. Now I'm gonna show you how it's done on the other side. If you're fortunate to have a hoist, obviously a good spot for it is right there on the frame rail. If you're doing it with a jack, you can either put it on the frame rail as well, or you can put it under the control arm right here. What I recommend you do is turn the wheel, so if you see the caliper right here, it faces away from the vehicle. If your steering wheel locks, just turn on the key so you can keep turning. If your tire is stuck on the hub, you can just take a hammer and hit on the tire somewhere. When you do hit, be very careful that you do not hit the rim and damage the rim. Sometimes if you keep on hitting really hard, the tire may just pop off. So it's a good safety precaution to put one nut on a couple threads. And if you feel like you still can't get it off like that, hitting on the tire, you can also hit the rim from the back, but you want to make sure you don't have a metal hammer because you're going to damage the rim. Once it's loose, you can just take the lug nut off and then remove the tire. You will find a link for all the tools down in the description. Now what you want to do is, you want to push the pistons in a little bit so the caliper is not stuck on there. For that, I'm just going to use a screwdriver, put it in between the brake pad and the caliper, and just pry back. That way you can see the piston go back into the caliper, and now you can see that the caliper is on here pretty loose. Now you're going to have to remove these two bolts with a 40mm socket. If you are very unlucky, the caliper sliding pin may be stuck to the bolt, so a good way to hold it is you use a plier and then you turn it off. You may need to use the ratchet to turn it off. Now when you take the caliper off, you want to make sure you don't let it hang on the brake hose, otherwise it will wreck the hose and you're going to have another issue. So you can just move it back, flip it over and put it on top of the brake rotor. You're going to take off the brake pads and note how you get this bulge right here on the inside pad, because when you take the new one, you want the one that has the bulge as well. You can take your flathead screwdriver to remove the pads if you cannot remove them just by hand. Just wiggle back and forth, eventually they will just come off. You can see how bad this pad already was. It was basically gone, so it's just on time. Also remove the outer pad. You want to also remove these clips if your brake pads came with new ones. You also want to check your slide pins, make sure they move freely. That's good. If they do not move freely, you may have to replace the bracket or the whole caliper. Since you got all apart this far, you do want to take the slide pins out, clean them and lube them. I'm sure you will notice a difference in thickness between the old pads and the new pads. Meaning, if you have these newer, thicker pads, that means you need more room in between your caliper. And that's why we have to push these pistons back into the caliper. And for that, we're going to use this tool. You want to use one of your old brake pads, not your new ones, to lay it on the pistons, and then use the tool and then press the piston in. And just move it back and forth. And this is why you want to use the old pad, because it leaves a mark on the pad. You can wipe off these brake caliper slide pins. You can also feel free to spray some brake clean on them to clean them off a little easier and better. Once they're clean, put some brake lube on there. This is good stuff. It will help it from rusting or binding and help your brake pads to wear more evenly. And then you will also do that to the other brake slide pin as well. Once they're all lubed up, you can install them back onto the truck. You may want to clean those grooves out just a little bit for those metal clips to go in there. You can see right here, you got this little lip here and then this bigger lip with a hook on the other side. That goes toward the inside of the vehicle or away from the rotor. So you first hook in the side with a little hook. You can just use a plier to press it into place. Remember this bulge I was talking about? That is the one that goes to the inside of the vehicle. You want this part to slide easily and quietly in these grooves by the new clips that we just installed. So we're gonna put some lube on this area as well. Be careful not to get any on the brake pad. Remember the one with the bumps goes to the inside of the vehicle. Sometimes it works better if you can slide in, if you put it in like this and then twist it once you got it started in there. Then install this side as well. Does not have these bulges. You can see these rubbing surfaces. Those you want to lube up as well to keep your brakes quiet. Now that we have it all lubed up, we can install our brake caliper back into place. You may have to push your slide pins in so you can fit your caliper on. And same here on the bottom one. Slide it in and it goes right on. Tighten up these bolts. These brake caliper sliding bolts have to be torqued down to 27 foot-pounds. With your brake caliper sliding bolts torqued, you can mount the wheel. Install the nuts. Once they're all tight, drop the vehicle down and torque the wheel nuts. You want to torque your wheels to 150 foot-pounds and go in a crisscross pattern. Now this is an important step that you do not want to miss. If you would just start driving and something comes up and you are about to hit the brakes, the vehicle will not stop. Because it first has to take all the slack out of the brake caliper before it starts braking. And the first time you press, or the first couple times, it will just take out the slack but won't actually stop the vehicle. So what you have to do is press the brakes a couple times before you start driving until they feel pretty firm. And it's not just this side, it's the other side as well. After you have compressed the brake pedal, ran it a little bit and compressed the brake pedal again, you want to check your brake fluid level as well. It works really good if you put a light behind your brake fluid reservoir. The level looks good. Now if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe. Otherwise, thanks for watching and God bless you.